Hey guys, this is Andrew Holmes and this is Chris Badea. He is a architect by trade, and we are at a property this happens to be Lansing, where is this a disaster or is this a good property? From the outside, if you look at the property, it's a perfect looking house. Great subdivision, great location, but this has some issues and it has some structural issues. A lot of times people will just run, not even evaluate the property as to what does it cost to fix, at what price can we fix it. So let's go inside, let's look, and then we'll do the numbers when we get back to the office. So guys, what's funny is the thing that's really easy to see is that there's a bucket here. So this is kind of the sump pump that comes out, right? And then what happens is this bucket fills. I mean, it's going to fill in 2 minutes when there's a lot of rain or something going on. And guess what's going to happen? All the water is going to pour here. It's going to go through that the window well as well. So it's going to go right in the foundation. Easy problem to fix. Literally 20 bucks worth of PVC out, an extension fixes the problem. That's not where the big problem is. We got a much bigger problem here, and that's what we want you to kind of think about and learn from. So you want to point out kind of what the...
Yeah, so the effect of all of this water that has been coming down to the foundation, especially with this cold winter we had, all that water that freezes, every time it freezes and thaws back, it keeps pushing that wall. And if you look here at the corner, you can see where the foundation, the concrete relative to the siding is. As you work your way in towards the middle, you can see that has been pushed back a good 6 inches.
So basically, I want to kind of show that, right? Here, you have a gap. I mean, it's literally kind of the size of my hand, right? So if you guys look at my hand, what happens is you have about, 6-8 inches gap between where the siding is supposed to be. The siding is kind of sits on typically
the edge of the foundation,
and there's a 6 to 8 inch gap. So basically what has happened is the foundation has gone farther away by about 6 to 8 inches, gone inside the house, and that's where the biggest problem comes from. A couple people, the seller gave us a estimate, oh, it's $6,000-7,000, just pull it back, a foundation company, take this and be happy. And as we started doing further investigation, we're like, I think we have a bigger problem with that.
It's a lot more severe than just a $6,000 repair.
So Chris, you were saying that there's a crack there and there's a crack there, right?
Yes.
You can see those kind of in the video. And you said these are the ones you're really concerned with. And you were explaining why upstairs we don't really see. You see a little bit of the floor going down, but most of the house, it's in perfect condition.
Right.
Literally easy rehab. These two cracks here, that crack over there. So let's deal with the easy ones really quickly, and then let's talk about the more difficult ones. So the crack that's kind of there that you guys see now in the video versus the crack that is here, right? This crack. So these are two cracks that a lot of times will scare people. But what about those cracks? Is that easy to fix, those two cracks?
So let's start with that first crack in the corner. That crack right there is not too bad. That one's an easily fixable crack. It's just a stress crack. It's not bulging in. It doesn't appear to be settling. That one you can just seal for water, you're okay. These larger cracks right here that are coming off of these two windows, what's caused those cracks is not the lowering of one side of the footing or another. It's actually the center of the wall from all that water that freezes in the winter, and when that ice expands, every time it keeps pushing that wall further in.
So hold on, let's explain that. So what happens is you have a foundation, water gets behind it, right? Outside the house, and it's sitting there. And sometimes when it rains a lot, you'll have some seepage, you'll have water coming inside the house. Then in winter what happens is it'll freeze all the way about at least 4 feet below, right?
3 foot 6,
3 foot below. And then what happens is when it freezes, the volume of ice basically is more, so it starts pushing on your foundation. Most of the problems that happen with foundations are caused because of that one issue. And most of the times people think, oh my God, the foundation's sinking. It's very few times. Once in a while it does. But most of the times it's improper water management. Would you say that's the case? Okay, great. So I just wanted you to kind of explain that, because a lot of times people will look at it, oh my God, I'm scared. But you have to know, what are you scared of? What is the main issue here in a property like this?
What you want to look for to be scared of, when you see cracks that are more in a vertical direction, that's an indication that one side of the wall has settled more than the other side, causing it as it pulls, it splits apart. Those are the ones where you'll also notice upstairs, because one of the two sides of that wall has gone down, and then the room above it will also have kind of split and cause pressure in the drywall, and you'll see vertical cracks in your upstairs. This type of situation, there is no change in height from one side of the wall. It's just all buckling inward. That's why it's not visible in the wall upstairs.
Now, mind you, everything is fixable in the most cases, right? As long as, well, they built Disneyland over swampland, right?
That's right.
But so you can do it. The question always becomes is at what cost? So we're going to go back so we're going to have, so Chris is here. So any of you that are looking for an architect, number one, to do your jobs, we want to promote Chris. Not only is Chris a friend, he's from Mastery, and he's come out to a lot of these properties to give us, this is a professional opinion. This is not something that an inspector just comes here and says, oh my God, there's a problem. So we're going to have him write a letter, say, hey, this is where the problem is, and this is what, in my opinion, as an architect, it costs to fix. We're going to go back to the seller and say, hey, are you willing to address this issue? Which is that, are you willing to give us a big enough discount? So let's go back. When we go back to the office, we're going to figure out, number one, do we want to take on this property as a fix? If we do, at what price does it become worth it for us to get the property fixed? So Chris, thank you for being here and participating. So we're back in the office with the house with the foundation problem. And what we want to figure out is this worth it? So number one, we determined, is the foundation problem fixable? Yes. And then what is it fixable for? So my profit. So the first thing, why do we do real estate? Either we're going to fix and flip it. So we're going to look at the numbers fix and flip, and what would the numbers be for a rental property on this property. Now, very conservatively on this house, I'm saying it's going to be about $180,000 is the back end value if I'm going to do a flip on the property. In terms of profit, we need to make at least a 35, and since it's profit, I'm going to put it in green. So 180 and 35K is what I want to make in terms of a profit, minimum. Then repairs wise, if I take upstairs, the house is actually pretty good. But remember, because of the foundation problem in this case, we're going to be rather conservative. We're going to play it as if it needed a lot of work, because some money I may be able to save upstairs, I'm going to end up spending it elsewhere in the house. So I'm going to say about a minimum of 50K in repairs. On top of that, I'm going to have some closing costs, I'm going to have some selling costs, I'm going to have some carrying costs on the property. So I'm accounting roughly about 22K for the property. So if I add basically from this to this is my total cost in the property, including my profit built in. So what that gives me about $107,000. So if I take 180, I subtract 107, what do I get left with? I'm left with about a purchase price of $73,000 on the property. Now my problem is this, I don't know about you. See, I don't like to play that close to the edge. So actually, this property is under contract, ballpark about this price, and we're going to basically slash this. The number on this property for us is going to be 63 or so for a flip, and it's going to be close to 72,000 if I was going to do a rental on the property. For a rental on the property, I can afford to pay a little bit more given the scenario. See, if we keep the property, it's going to be a property that's going to have about $550 net cash flow. Hopefully, understanding the foundation problem made sense. Watch out for more videos. This is Andrew from chicagorea.org. Thanks. Have a good day.